Hello YouTubes, welcome back. I'm bringing you a Lorcana video today because I went to my very first ever store championships super duper early in October and managed to get this bad boy, bad girl, card, bit of cardboard, shiny cardboard. Yeah, look at that, sweet. So I managed to grab Mirabelle. I got top 8. I'm not going to show you a deck profile because you can see by these cards here, I basically played Emerald Steel discard, which after a week of playing, yeah, it's a bit toxic. It's really, really mean, and you're trying to look at your opponent's hand, discard their hand, and then capitalize on them not having much going forward. We've got Prince John that draws cards when your opponent discards, and we make them discard through lots of variations of songs and cards that when they enter they can discard, like Anna. I played the DLC Las Vegas winning lists because in my current journey of Lorcana I'm playing all the decks to see what I like, and I've played Steel Emerald and I think it's okay. I like it. It's cool. The cards, like the art of the cards, like Beast and Diablo, really, really cool cards. However, I don't think I'll be playing it going forward, but it did make me win this, and I've got 4 more championships to go to, so hopefully I can get the play mat, get some more of these Mirabelles. But yeah, I'd like to, show you how it went. We were at Dyson Drinks in Burgess Hill, so big shout out to them. We had about 20 players in the room and some really, really good players. Round 1, I got paired up with my friend Chris. He was on Steel Sapphire, so I know in that list they play a lot of songs, and obviously it ramps into some stuff. I think like Tamatoas and Hades and all that jazz. So early on I need to make sure I can look at the hand, Ursula rip songs, and then go into like Hypnotize and Sudden Chill, which are cards that are actions that rip even more cards, and capitalize with keeping Diablo on the field. When your opponent draws a card, Diablo draws a card, and it's not mandatory, so you've got to be really switched on to get these effects. So in both games I was able to keep on top of Chris not playing Grab Your Swords, which basically wipes my board, or Whole New World, which discards your whole hand and draws up to 7. I was able to control that element, and then I was able to control it with Pete. He's a bit of a floodgate in the game, so when you play him, your opponent can't play actions. So I think there was one time one of his hands had like 5 songs which are actions, and yeah, he couldn't play that turn. So I was able, in both those games, it was a 2-0, I was able to get, set up the hand rip and set up Pete quite easily. Then I go into round 2 against some guy over in Hove who has a team and he's really good, and he played Ruby Amethyst and I lost 2-1. All 3 games were very grindy. I think he might have scooped in when I went first in game 2 quite early, because I was able to establish a board and I was able to establish the hand rip to the point where in those games your opponent would rather ink cards than keep cards, because you generate a lot of pluses from just hand ripping because of Prince John drawing cards. So yeah, I lost 2-1, kind of expected it. I was playing against a person who's played the game a lot more than me, way more experienced, and experienced in this whole setup with his Stitch champion playmat. Round 3 I played against Steel Amethyst, bit of a mixed bag with it because it was aggro-y and went wide, and so I had to be patient with my cards, because like Pete wasn't really working, wasn't stopping any actions, there wasn't many actions to stop. Didn't want to play Ursula because there wasn't many things to rip other than like friends on the other side. So if you're trying to rip one card that's a 4 of in a 60 card deck, it's just, you might as well try different ways of playing. I think I managed to get into like Beasts and Diablo were able to set up and just draw into engine and get to the point where I can clear the board and then start discarding from the hand. So it was a 2-0, and then I played Ruby Sapphire again, the items deck, against round 2's mate, and yeah, I bricked both games. I got 2-0'd really, really quickly. It's interesting because in DLC Birmingham, when I had that matchup with the Amber Emerald, which is basically it's the same deck with discard, I won my games. And here I couldn't set up, and every time I did and went semi-wide, Big Prepared came down, Medusa came down, Brawl came down, Maui was smashing stuff up, so a little gutting that I didn't put up a fight. But the item deck is so strong. When you like top deck Popsicle, play it, draw, and then you have Flavisham on the field, and you quest and pop the Popsicle to draw 2 more cards, and you have still tons of ink, it goes off. It's a pretty cool deck. And then the last round I had to win to get into top 8. I played a lad who got top 32 in Birmingham. He was playing Amber Emerald discard, so it was a bit of a discard mirror. I won 2-1. All 3 games were grindy. I think a couple of misplays from his behalf gave me the upper hand, but I got put in a position where I found out that Beast was really difficult for him to get rid of. He had to have Aikido and Under the Sea. He would crash Diablo into Diablos, and so Beast was basically my draw engine, and I would put everything in the cove and just sit in the cove and hide until I got to 20. I think on game 3 it was 15 all, and then he passed turn. I had 2 Beasts and an Ana in the cove, and yeah, it was GG's. And by this point I felt rough. You can probably hear it in my voice. Like, I've been ill for like a week. As soon as I realised I won this, I just kind of didn't bother too much with top 8. And I didn't have to bother because I played Sapphire Amethyst, Blurple. I think it's a really cool deck, and it just blew me out the water. I bricked, and I had so many uninkables I just couldn't play. So in the 6 rounds, I bricked 3 or 4 games. That's actually not quite good. I need to sort that out. But yeah, the over experience was awesome. I'm not too sure about the intentional drawing thing. It's a bit weird when you're like going into the final round and there's a few of you are trying to get into top 8, and then all the top players who are like know their top 8 just go and leave. Like, oh, you want to draw? Yeah, let's draw. Like from Yu-Gi-Oh! You can't do that. The judge will just kick you out. It felt really unsportsmanlike. It felt not very competitive when you're like, yeah, you wanna just like go and get some food and just have the draw. Like, yeah, sweet. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, I've got to win to get into top 8, and these guys are just going off. I don't know, tell me what you think about that. We had like 20 players and we went into top cut, and yeah, we managed to get home about 8 o'clock at night, and I thought that was a bit long. I think when you have a small store, I think going to top 4 is, yeah, just do that. I didn't mind getting cut from competing in the top cut because it was a long day. As the rounds are long, you're playing best of 3. I think it's 45 minutes. It's quite long. Sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh, the time just goes so quick because you're so in the game. When you're playing Lorcana, it's way more chill and the pace is slow. And then you think time has gone by, and then 25 minutes left on the round, and you're like going, what? That's so long. Dice and drinks were awesome. Hosts, yeah, if you're around Burgess Hill area, go check them out. They had tons of products from Magic to Lorcana to Yu-Gi-Oh! Jen picked up a cool, pretty deck box as well. I think it was like an Ultimate Guard one. And we ended up playing Pack Rush together. And I pulled a legendary Mufasa, which I need for one of my new decks. And Jen pulled a legendary Ana and a legendary Robin Hood from the top 4 packs of the box. So we were very lucky, and we had a really fun rush pack thing. Our friend managed to come second. He came 7th in the top cut. He won quarters, he won the semis, and then it was really, really late. He was like, you know what, you can have the win for the mat. I want to go home. I live like an hour and a half away, 2 hours away. I need to go. Well done, Fareed. You absolutely smashed it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I want to, in future, show deck profiles of decks that I have made or my friends have made and that I've done well with. Obviously, with this one, it was just a carbon copy of the DLC Las Vegas winning deck. If you want to see some deck profiles, just let me know. I have some gameplay to show, probably like some highlights. It did cut out a couple of times. The camera was not being fair to me, especially when I was in round 2 making it 1-1. Cutting out before I made it 1-1 was a little bit annoying. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye.